The Festival of Art's outdoor mural project, years in the planning, is now a reality. In 1988, 13 huge outdoor murals sprang to colorful life right before the community's eyes. Our city's buildings became the artist's canvas. Located just 20 minutes from Niagara Falls in the beautiful Niagara Peninsula, Welland is making a dramatic new statement.
The most expensive art collections may be found in Paris or Rome, but the largest certainly belongs to Welland. The Niagara community owes its heritage to the man-made canal that gives passage to ships between the Great Lakes. But lately, the real attention is being paid to a sizable investment in art. They are aptly named the Giant Murals of Welland. Some of the 28 works reach 3 stories in height and span the length of half a football field.
Civic officials in Welland are convinced that to fully capitalize on tourism opportunities, it's important to get the big picture. So they've commissioned 13 artists from around the country to portray Welland, past and present, on a series of downtown murals. Going to the wall for tourism, the painters are following a pattern set...
The heart of the Niagara Peninsula decided to spruce up its downtown core. The result is a program called Festival of Arts 88.
Murals are a powerful and emotional form of storytelling, giving both an artist and viewer the chance to dwell in a living memory, education, and commemoration. In the mid-1980s, the idea for Welland's Festival of Art was launched as a community project by the Promote Welland Task Force, inspiring a new era of Welland's identity and pride. For many years, Welland thrived on its location on the canal, its growing population, booming factories, and abundance of locally owned businesses and industries. However, with the canal's official closure in 1972 to make way for the more efficient bypass, the city in the following decades suffered with a dwindling economy and passive community. Local developer and businessman Ernie Allen inspired the project after his visit out west, initiatives taken by small towns to shift the economy from a heavy reliance on industry to tourism, transforming decaying buildings and spaces to eye-catching pieces of art and foot traffic. The project was officially launched in winter of 1988, and the search began to find capable and willing artists from across Canada. Nearly 40 artists submitted their work, and a final 11 artists were chosen to paint the first 13 murals, with 10 more being proposed in 1989 and another 3 in 1990. The murals' themes and locations were selected precisely with careful consideration of important factors, including accessibility to transit and businesses, parking, security, lighting, and proximity to one another. From July to October of 1988, downtown Welland became a spectacle to see the artworks come to life. Welland, Ontario, located along the Niagara Peninsula, situates itself between both Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. The area of what is now the city of Welland was once the land of the Attawandarong people, also known as the Neutral Confederacy Indigenous, living in numerous settlements across the north banks of Lake Erie. The first European settlers arrived in Niagara throughout the 17th century with various French explorers and missionary groups. However, with multiple military tensions over both land ownership and trade regions, the area eventually became the territory of the British Empire in the early years of the 18th century. Hard labor and the taming of the land is a defining factor of Welland's history, characterized by its early industries and local resources from farming to dense forestry, mills, and waterways. Throughout the early 19th century, it was a difficult life for the early 2 townships of Thorold and Groland, a constant battle between harsh weather and survival. However, what truly defined the beginnings of Welland was the first construction of the Welland Canal, first proposed by the influential businessman, politician, and soldier William Hamilton Merritt in the early 19th century, a waterway to connect the lake water to the early establishments of Upper Canada. The Welland Canal Company was established in 1824 and went through numerous and expensive land surveys and dangerous phases of building to create the original route, battling hazardous working and weather conditions, collapses, and unstable soil leading to workers' death. The decision was made to alter the route, marking the area of Welland's birth. One of the most significant themes among the murals is the heavily emphasized Welland Canal, depicting the many ships, labor, and numerous phases of building. Throughout the 19th century, the canal was used by both ships and tugboats to transport materials into Canada and the United States, carrying important cargo such as raw materials, coal, food, and animals. However, as technology and water power advanced, the 19th century saw the rebuilding of two more variations of the canal to maintain and improve the route between the two lakes. The final building of the canal came in the 20th century. As shipping technology expanded and grew, the old Welland Canal grew too slow. The bends and numerous lift bridges throughout the city proved to be an issue for larger ships. The fourth and final building of the canal avoided Welland entirely and opted for a more functional and straighter route through Thorold. 7 of the murals feature the canal as a focal point, including Upbound at Midnight, Canal Digging, Lift Bridges, The Pond, New Year's Eve, Town Paths, Canal Construction, and Tugboats. However, of these 7 murals, only 3 have survived. Upbound at Midnight was one of the first murals created in 1988, painted by Ross Beard. Beard specialized in landscape paintings that feature soft and blended colors. He was born and raised in Welland and studied art at Sheridan College. It is meant to reflect the beauty of the night, relying on heavy blues and attention to lighting. The scene is from 1975, a ship quietly awaiting its journey through the locks. The second major focus of the murals seems to be Welland's heritage, success, and reliability on its small businesses and industries. By the 1850s, Welland was developing into its own image, becoming the early village of Marrettsville. Welland was quickly becoming an industrial town, and its outcome shaped its history. Defined by its establishment of a functioning courthouse and government, businesses and factories grew around the expanding community, especially with the influx of immigrants in the early 20th century. Many of the city's downtown businesses were family-owned shops, including the widely known Ross store, various retailers selling a variety of goods including housewares, provisions, and other much-needed goods or services. However, it was not just small businesses, but many corporations operated in the area. This included a variety of mills, such as the Plymouth Cordage Company, which specialized in rope and yarn production, Empire Cotton Mills, and National Textiles, who relied heavily on female employment, though also dozens of later established factories including John Deere, Page Hersey Iron Tube and Lead Company, Union Carbide, Welland Iron and Brass Company, and Atlas Steels. These are core themes presented in numerous murals, such as the Cordage Community, Working Women, Welland Dairies, Welland Fair, Little Helper, Downtown Welland, and Main Street. Downtown Welland is one of the murals that captures these ideals exceptionally, showcasing the hard-working individuals in the early years of industrial Welland. Completed in 1989 by Philip Wolfe, the mural strives to capture both the interior and exterior spaces of a bustling street, catching viewers' eyes with bright colors and captivating visuals, such as the large recreated ad that showcases Welland's past. Arguably, another important theme throughout the murals is transportation, not only defined by the canal and railroad, but horses as well. Horses were used in the early days to pull equipment such as lumber in the buildings of the canals and streets. However, they also were used all over the city for a variety of roles, including deliveries. Transportation was also a crucial part of immigrant families arriving in Canada in the early 20th century. Welland was a desirable place to live, with abundance of space, resources, and industrial employment for new settlers in Canada. Railway lines became a critical factor in bringing in goods to factories, but were also used for public transportation and farming equipment. One of Welland's first transit systems was the streetcar in 1911, used to transport workers through town and into the surrounding factories. Many of the murals follow this theme, including Wagons, Paint by Number, New World, Where Water Meets Rail, 3 Historical Scenes, Welland Trolley, Steam Engine, and Tell Me About the Olden Days. Wagons, painted in 1989 by Andrew Miles, is an intricate stained glass style mural depicting this theme of transportation, showcasing the various uses and purposes of horse-drawn buggies throughout the century. The mural is meant to evoke a sense of nostalgia, however, it also stands out from the rest of the collection. It's unique, bright, and compelling to look at. 37 years later, only 16 of the murals survive. Others have been destroyed by construction, weather, and renovations. It wasn't until recently that the city began to take an interest in the murals' welfare, installing plaques, websites, conducting walking tours, and preventing any more murals from being destroyed. What was once a great initiative to engage the community and boost the economy, it seems that Welland has fallen back into its initial issue, a struggling city with an overwhelming abundance of social issues that prevent public art and history projects to be the main focus. Instead, less expensive creative projects take precedence.